Around 1464. West Africa. The Great Bend of the Niger River. Sunni Ali stood before the royal palace of Gao. His gaze stretched far beyond the horizon. What was he thinking in that moment? Before him spread the vast lands that the Mali Empire had once ruled. But the Mali Empire had already fallen. A vacuum of power had opened across all of West Africa. Sunni Ali's hand tightened around the hilt of his sword. From this moment, the story of Songhai's expansion begins. Sunni Ali was no mere conqueror. He knew where the wealth of West Africa lay. It lay in the cities scattered along the Niger River Valley. Timbuktu. Janneh. Whoever controlled these trading cities would become the master of the region. In 1468, Sunni Ali seized Timbuktu. Then, through the 1470s, he swept through Janneh and the other cities of the Niger Valley, one after another. His cavalry crossed deserts and forded rivers. And slowly the outlines of an empire took shape. 1493. A turning point came to Songhai. Askia Muhammad seized power. In 1493, amid a power struggle with the Sunni dynasty, Askia Muhammad took control and began to fundamentally reshape both administration and religious policy. He was a different kind of leader than Sunni Ali. He valued knowledge over the sword. He valued governance over conquest. Askia Muhammad declared, "An empire cannot be sustained by force alone." He was also a devoted Muslim. Upon taking the throne, he set out on his pilgrimage to Mecca, the Hajj. That journey would etch the Songhai Empire into the pages of world history. Askia Muhammad's pilgrimage to Mecca was no mere act of religious duty. The journey was said to have been accompanied by enormous wealth, though accounts vary on the precise scale. But what was certain was the meaning of that journey. Along the way, he forged ties with religious authorities and scholars in Cairo, and so strengthened the legitimacy of his rule over West Africa. When Askia Muhammad returned to Gao, he was no longer a regional king. He was a rightful ruler, recognized as a member of the Islamic world. And he resolved, "I will make Timbuktu the center of knowledge for the entire world." Under Askia Muhammad's reign, Songhai expanded rapidly. At its height, the empire's territory is estimated to have exceeded 1 million square kilometers, though the precise figure varies depending on definition. A vast domain stretching across what is now Mali, Niger, northern Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and Senegal. The great artery of the empire was the Niger River. Ships crossing its waters carried gold, salt, ivory, and cloth. It is said that a large portion of the gold circulating throughout the Mediterranean world at the time came from this region. In the Europe of that era, Songhai's gold was spoken of in hushed wonder. In West Africa, they said, "Gold lies thick as sand." But the true treasure of this empire was not gold. Timbuktu. When many hear that name today, they picture a remote and distant land at the edge of the world. But Timbuktu in the 16th century was something else entirely. Its population at its peak was said to be great, though estimates vary widely. What is certain is that the city was home to many religious institutions and places of learning. From the north came merchants from Morocco and Egypt. From the east, from the Ottoman Empire. From as far away as Portugal and Spain, traders set their sights on this city. Perhaps there were few cities in the world at that time where such a diversity of peoples came together. Timbuktu was a jewel in the desert. And here lies perhaps the most astonishing fact of this entire age. Across the entire educational community of Timbuktu, centered on the Sankore Mosque, it is said that some 25,000 students gathered. Yet this was not enrollment in a university, in the modern sense of the word. With mosques like Sankore at their core, a master-student network spread across the entire city, drawing in great numbers of learners. Accounts vary on the true scale, but what is certain is that a significant share of Timbuktu's total population was engaged in scholarship. Students studied the Quran in Arabic. But that was only the beginning. Timbuktu was home to many places of learning and manuscripts. Hundreds of thousands of manuscripts are said to have been preserved in the private libraries of scholars and in the city's mosques. Sources are limited when it comes to the total collection at its height, and a definitive number is difficult to pin down, but there is no question the scale was immense. The contents were not limited to religion, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, law, history, poetry. The most advanced knowledge in the world of that era was gathered in this city. According to records, medical manuscripts contained anatomical illustrations and described surgical techniques. Astronomical manuscripts held calculation tables for the movements of the stars. This scholarship was passed down through the Islamic world of West Africa, and in modern research, its significance has been internationally reassessed. Timbuktu was a lighthouse of knowledge. The prosperity of the empire rested on two great commodities: gold and salt. Gold came from the south. Mined in the forested highlands above the Niger River, it was carried north across the desert. Salt came from the north. Extracted from rock salt mines deep in the Sahara, it was carried south to the agricultural lands below. This exchange was the very foundation of the Songhai Empire's economy. Salt was extraordinarily valuable in certain regions. In some circumstances, traded at a value equal to gold itself. For the people of the desert, salt was life itself. It is said that a large share of the gold circulating in the Mediterranean world of that time came from this corner of West Africa, and the wealth it generated sustained the scholarship of Timbuktu. Askia Muhammad was a devoted Muslim. He secured the support of Islamic legal scholars. The ulama seized power and set about enforcing Islamic law more strictly in the cities. Yet the empire held one undeniable reality. Many among the people still held the traditional African beliefs of their ancestors: spirit worship, agricultural rites, the sacred reverence of royal lineage. In the end, he chose to enforce Islamic law strictly in the cities, while quietly tolerating traditional beliefs in the countryside, governing with hard-won pragmatism. This flexibility stabilized the empire, the power to bind together peoples of many different faiths and origins. That may have been one of the secrets that kept the Songhai Empire enduring across so many generations. But every empire has its weakness. The weakness of the Songhai Empire was the question of succession. Askia Muhammad lived a long life, and that long life drove fractures deep into the empire. His sons fought for power. In 1528, the aging emperor was deposed by his own son, and the struggle for the throne continued again and again. With every internal conflict, the army fractured. The treasury was drained. Regional power holders began to disregard the authority of the center. Cracks invisible from the outside were etched ever deeper into the empire's core. 1591. A threat from the north came crossing the desert. The Saadian dynasty of Morocco. A force of some 4,000 men, led by their military commander Judar Pasha. In numbers alone, the Songhai army was overwhelmingly larger. But the Moroccan force possessed something Songhai did not: muskets. The most advanced firearms, acquired from Spain and Portugal. Perhaps the Songhai commanders had underestimated their power. But that was not the only problem. March 12, 1591. The plain of Tondibi, near the Niger River. The Songhai Emperor Askia Ishaq II led his army himself. Something may have stirred within him. The enemy had crossed the desert, barely 4,000 men. His own army dwarfed them by a vast margin. But the moment a thunderous roar erupted from the front of the Moroccan line. A volley of fire. According to the records, Songhai's war elephants panicked at the sound of the guns, turned, and trampled their own infantry. The cavalry fell into chaos. The advantage of firearms was decisive. But compounded by Songhai's internal strife and the instability of its rule, the defeat was sealed. That day, the Songhai Empire collapsed. The Moroccan army entered Timbuktu. The first thing they came for was the scholars. According to records, prominent scholars of Timbuktu were captured and taken away to Morocco. Among them were some of the greatest legal scholars of the age. Manuscripts were looted. Some were carried across the desert to Morocco. Some were destroyed. Some were buried in the earth. Especially through the 15th and 16th centuries, Timbuktu had been known as one of West Africa's foremost cities of learning. That brilliance in a single night disappeared into history. After the fall of the Songhai Empire, West Africa fractured. In the land left without a strong central power, small kingdoms rose up one after another. The trade routes fell into disorder. The scholars scattered to the winds. Timbuktu grew quiet. The city that had once drawn people from across the world became a regional town in the desert. But not everything was lost. Some of the manuscripts buried in the earth still survive to this day. In and around Timbuktu, hundreds of thousands of manuscripts are said to remain preserved in private homes and research institutions. In 2012, when armed groups briefly occupied Timbuktu, citizens risked their lives to protect these manuscripts and carry them out to other cities. The will to protect knowledge had not been extinguished, even after hundreds of years. The Songhai Empire fell, but what it left behind cannot be measured in numbers or territory. Timbuktu's historic mosques have been inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and efforts to preserve the manuscripts continue through research institutions and local initiatives. In 2023, the World Heritage designation of Timbuktu was removed from the list of World Heritage in danger, following progress in conservation. The restoration and digitization of manuscripts continues to advance, and research and access are slowly expanding. The knowledge that citizens once risked their lives to protect, now, in digital form, it strives to live on forever. Knowledge outlives empires. And so, I ask you, knowledge outlasts weapons. But knowledge, left unguarded, can vanish. In the age you live in today, what knowledge is worth protecting? And when a civilization's legacy stands on the edge of being lost, what should people do? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for staying with me until the very end. Today we explored the Songhai Empire of West Africa, but here at Turning Point History, we keep searching for the turning points of world history from perspectives that textbooks never tell. The rise and fall of empires, the flourishing and collapse of civilizations, and the decisions of the people who lived through it all. If you're searching for the stories hidden deep within history, subscribe and turn on notifications. There are still so many turning points in history that you haven't yet discovered. Until next time,